People deluded. I'm back again. Obviously, we've just drawn 1-1 with Spurs, and to be fair, if you offered me that before the game, I would have taken that. We know within the context of the game, things went different ways. If Leno didn't make that save, we might have lost. Obviously, if Mustafi, the man who's in question in this vid, we'll get onto it, didn't make his mistake, things won't happen. And obviously, as much as I think Mustafi was dead, collectively throughout the team, we didn't do enough offensively to possibly score more, and specifically our strikers didn't take the chances presented. There's not one single person I can... Obviously, you can bring out individual moments, and for me, it's all on Mustafi, but away from all of that, we win together, we all lose together. Mustafi, now I don't like to be personal. I don't like to say things and things like that, but I genuinely believe he's just simply an awful footballer. The decisions he makes are baffling. Like, I really don't understand it. Like, I don't know where to start. Like, I have sympathy for Unai Emery because on one hand, I don't agree with playing Mustafi there. I feel the game. I wasn't necessarily for the team that went out there. It shocked me, but credit where due. Unai Emery, not even... The team went out there and did their job, but the tactics we employed, which obviously nobody knew until we did it, sitting in, remaining rigid, defending well, I think we played well. We was just let down again by defensive errors. I have sympathy for Unai Emery because, not to name drop players, but if we remember last week when Dozy did it, this week against Bournemouth, now it was Mustafi. Against City, it was Mustafi and Lichtsteiner. We've actually seen against United at home, it's Kohler. When Lingard scored in the FA Cup at the Emirates, it was our midfielders. When Firmino scored at Anfield, it was a similar incident with Kohler and etc. Individual mistakes are costing this club, and we've known it. We know, not to be a spoiler, but there's actually I actually went to Arsenal Fan TV this week and we recorded a vid. I'm not going to shed too much light on it, but you'll see my points made in it. 5 clean sheets is on everyone. It's not just on the manager. I mean, it's not just on the players, the manager as well, because we played over 20 games. 5 clean sheets isn't good enough, and it's not, as much as I feel individual errors are to blame, it's not just them. Did these play? I have to ask, like, did these players, specifically Mustafi, are you at the start of the season, Mustafi was saying how Unai Emery's improved him, how he's told him exactly where he needs to be, the analysis and everything. Are you really learning from what you're being told then? Because I believe in critically analysing yourself, and these men are sportsmen. Any driven individual in any walk of life, you consistently assess yourself, assess what you're good at, what you're bad at, what you need to improve, your goals and aspirations. These lot are competitive sportsmen, athletes. It doesn't matter what skill set you specialize in as an athlete. They're some of the most competitive people, so that by that logic they should be some of the most self-reflective because they want to be the best. Obviously it's not an individual sport, it'd be more so if he was a boxer, but you want to be the best. You want to be the best defender, you want to have the best nutrients, you want to recover the best, you want to train the best, you want to do everything the best, you want to know what you do good and what you do wrong. You have all this statistical data, analytical data. Do you know how much I wish I had the cameras and the analysis and the fancy little scribbles these lot probably get access to at the Emirates and at London Coley? There's no excuse for these mistakes. They are made time and time again. How many times, Mustafi in particular, this man cannot play for this club anymore. I say all of this out of anger. Clearly he needs to be used until the end of the season, just like a lot of these players, because we're down to the bare bones. But a mistake made more than once is a choice. Now, Unai Emery has to coach these players, but he can't coach the uncoachable. These mistakes, I do believe a couple of these mistakes we make, we can unlearn them because we've shown we can't concentrate for high periods of time consistently. If we can improve that, then we can improve. But things like Mustafi, even things like against City, he's playing everybody on side. Today, I don't say it's the final straw because we're getting this week in, week out with Mustafi now, but I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Yes, Harry Kane is offside, but what is he doing? Like, you're just barging into him. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's not even doing it discreetly. Like, you're bang to rights. You know Harry Kane is going to make the most of it, and as we all would, and he's going to get the advantage. So what is the issue? And I actually feel prior to that, Mustafi was doing okay, apart from letting us down offensively. He weren't playing in his position, but I can't understand it. Like, people keep letting themselves down, and I'm not even asking Unai Emery to improve them. Like, are you lot after these games? Are you actually going and looking at yourself and things like that and thinking, I made a mistake here? What is going on? I'm starting to believe it's a psychological issue with Mustafi now and concentrating at high periods or things like that, because I don't get it. It can't be a tactical issue because surely we've been here. He's been here 2-3 years now. Same goals are being conceded by him. Same things he's being involved in. If it's not that, it's getting tight. If it's not that, it's losing men. If it's not that, it's like last year in the FA Cup. Not FA Cup, sorry, the Carabao final. He's staying on. He's stayed in line with Sergio Aguero, and then Sergio Aguero skinned him. Big final at Wembley, people. Sergio Aguero skinned him, and he's there with his hand up. Mustafi getting too tight to players, doing what he did today. There's several incidences. More time he's out of position. The man is way more obsessed with being a ball player and shouting at others than doing his job. Like, if you didn't know football and you watched Mustafi once, I'm pretty sure you'd be convinced by him. You know, he's aggressive, talks a lot, seems like he's leading as well, but he's just... He seems like a good guy in part of the group and stuff, and maybe that's why he actually didn't go this year, to be fair with you. But it's like, what are you doing on a football pitch? You should be the best defender in this club, if you're honest with yourself, because you came with 35 million. You're 26, 7, however old he is, peak primes, World Cup winner, played in that German squad. You should be the first name on the team sheet. That's how real it is. You should be Koscielny before Koscielny fell off, because the reality is, Koscielny is a shadow of his former self. He's still twice the player. A 33-year-old left-back, not even the first choice left-back anymore, for me would be a header in the pecking order at playing centre-half. On this logic as well, I know Xhaka, that whole experiment earlier in the season with Xhaka at centre-half, it was a bit of a gazy one, and not to cover Xhaka in any glory, I think he did alright today, to be fair with you. Rather him at centre-half, because Mustafi, I don't like to be personal, I genuinely don't see what you're good at as a footballer. We've been here, you've had some periods where you've been good at this club, I'm not going to say you haven't, and you've had some good games, even the reverse fixture earlier in the season, but it's appalling. Again, not to be personal, but Martin Keown put it best, and it's like a light bulb went off in my head. It was in the Europa League last week or the week before, whenever it happened. He said Mustafi is better in the opposition's box, and that is the best way of putting it. He's better in the box. We have more happy memories of Mustafi scoring headers or doing certain things where we beat the likes of Spurs, etc., than we have of Mustafi keeping clean sheets, Mustafi bossing the game. Because, I mean, Mustafi has been good defensively, but you're struggling to list them. And all of them that you're listing, they're probably just all good team performances. For what it's worth, I do believe when he first signed here and we played PSG away, if I can remember, it was either home or away. The first time we played PSG in that group stage, he played all right. And again, he's had patches, but the consistency hasn't been there. We're in a unique position because who the hell is going to take him off us? For 35 million, you're hoping at best possibly 20, possibly. If I'm a club that's even got a remote of interest in Mustafi, whether that's lower league Premier League clubs, you can do much better, or teams in Italy like he allegedly was close to going to Inter Milan. You're trying to ask for a loan with an option to permanent or something similar to how we've got Denis Suarez, because why would you not? Why would you want to take Mustafi permanently? I honestly don't see who buys him. I don't see any. Again, I hope to be wrong. I hope a miracle happens and you can improve, but Unai Emery can't improve you. There's several things I want to see Unai Emery improve, but you're not one of them. I don't feel Unai Emery can improve you. I feel Mustafi, you're at this stage, you need to look close. You need to look deep in your heart, man, because what were you doing? Aubameyang and Lacazette, Aubameyang with the penalty miss. Lacazette had two good sitters that he missed, one in the second minute and probably the one I say you absolutely have to score 52nd minute. Big reasons, as much as big reasons as to why we didn't get 3 points as much as Mustafi, but for me it's not. And to be fair, they had bad games and they have to hold their hands up, but we need to keep the rough with the smooth. These players are going to have games like this. The same way you're seeing good individual displays from Lacazette to pull us through against Spurs or Aubameyang, or you're seeing them do their things. They're going to have games where they're underwhelming, or this is the rough with the smooth. I'm not excusing it. They're paid big money and they're signed for big money, forget their wages, to score goals and make the difference and do all of these sort of things. And they didn't deliver in them circumstances today. They're our key players, essentially, and that's what they're brought to do. They didn't do it, but at least I can say, okay, Aubameyang wasn't here, but he's pulled through. Look at the statistics for goals scored. He's pulled through for us. Lacazette, how many big games has he pulled through for us? He's missed sitters. Both of them missed sitters continuously this season, because them, man, they are human. But how many times has Mustafi stood up to be counted? What was it? Was it against Huddersfield or was it Cardiff? Whichever one came more recent and we conceded literally in the last minute. What was Mustafi doing there? He's getting too tight, he leaves space, he's unaware of runners, he plays people onside. It must be a nightmare to play with him. It must genuinely be a nightmare to play with him. I'm sure he's a good individual and a good lad, but how many times as well? And I have to ask Unai Emery, because again, I feel, again, hindsight, I was a bit shocked with the lineup, but they did well. Forget the lineup. For me, the game plan was superb today, apart from we needed to do a bit more offensively. But if I'm cherry picking, I'm pretty sure Arsenal fans, every Arsenal fan out there, you would not have put Mustafi at a right back. And Unai Emery did. As much as I'm praising him, and I've got no qualms with him, and he's been let down. Mustafi doesn't play, maybe that incident doesn't happen. Of course, it's naive to think like that because it could have happened to anybody. But I do think even Jenkinson's got a bit more of a thought process than that. I'm pretty sure everybody said Jenkinson, Maitland now's. I don't want to sit here and say people were screaming Lichtsteiner, because I wasn't screaming that, but you probably play him ahead of Mustafi. And again, I guess that's the lesser of two evils, essentially. But like Mustafi, what's going on? What's going on? If you're an individual footballer, because I get people, I was a grassroots footballer, I was nowhere near this level of Mustafi, but I knew I need to, I'm not the tallest, and I don't like heading, I need to improve in the air, and I would think, okay, I'm good at covering, let me focus on something else. You need to think, so if you imagine at a full-time level with the amount of scrutiny, the amount of time that they have to watch their games and stuff, and the profession they're in, why are you not learning from these mistakes? Because they're choices. A mistake made more than once is a choice. And these aren't even choices anymore. I legitimately think there's something wrong with the way Mustafi thinks in regards to defending. And there's a psychological problem. Similar to, probably, it's a dead example, but Shelvey, how he used to say he had to get help for when he used to snap at people and stuff and get angry and fly into challenges. You need to channel it. I feel Mustafi gets too much of a rush of blood, and that's a psychological thing. He panics. Look at whenever we can see the goal, he panics. And again, by Mustafi's standards, I actually feel he did all right prior to that mistake, to be fair with you, apart from letting us down offensively, but that's not his thing. But you knew it was coming. I'm pretty sure Arsenal fans, we all knew we was conceding today. We knew we weren't winning 1-0. We knew the goal was going to come. But you knew in the back of your head, Mustafi is going to have something to do with that goal that we've conceded. And it came true. Yes, Aubameyang, we could have, if he scored that penalty, we could have run away with it. And we could have been like, oh, Mustafi, you let us down. But we're a point behind Spurs now. We're full pressures on United thing. We could have done that. If Lacazette scores in the 52nd minute, we could have done that. And yeah, they have to hold their hands up. But for me, it's all Mustafi. That whole mistake, if it doesn't happen, several things don't happen. And to be fair, I can't even remember who conceded the foul, but I did have a feeling when that foul was conceded for the free kick that it was going to happen. And I must admit, yes, the ref, we should have known what it was going to be. We did our job, to be fair with you. How many times did we step up? Really and truly, we held our lines very well, in my opinion. We stepped out better. Yeah, I got confused there. We stepped out properly a couple of times, and the refs did their job in regards to the linesmen putting the flag up. So with well drilled defensive set pieces and attacking set pieces, we were let down because they're offside. Because not just Kane, million Spurs players were offside there, but playing devil's advocate again, I have no qualms. I am actually very confident with set pieces, so I don't want to change it. But possibly, could we have considered the fact possibly of what Kane was doing was a glimpse of things to come? Should we have dropped off a couple yards and maybe we could have dealt with that differently? I don't think that, but I have a duty to give you lot the other side of it. Personally, I feel the ref has to have put the line up. I do feel in the Premier League you can't rely on the linesman. That's probably why I'm asking you lot, possibly should we have had people follow? Should we have done basically a mixture of zonal marking and just marking players? But we was let down. We was let down, and I wouldn't change anything. Like I said, I think we defended very well today. Offensively, a lot of question marks, not just in taking chances, but I feel especially with our midfielders, the game we was playing was probably sitting back a bit too much, especially because of the context of the game and the form Spurs are in, and just what's been attached with Arsenal. To be fair, it was all just us soaking up Spurs pressure and hitting them on counters, and it worked. But yeah, man, I feel Mustafi, you need to be used until the end of the season, but I can't see why. Like, for me, I don't want to say you've lost my faith. You lost my faith a long time ago. And for everybody that watches me, you know I was a big advocate of Mustafi. Like, when he came, I was gassed people. I didn't think he was going to be a saviour, but we needed a centre-half. We needed someone that could stood up to be counted. And he's got that nastiness about him. One thing I like about him, regardless of this poor form, He's got an elite mentality. He's not a softie sort of thing. The problem with him is he's just a poor footballer. We haven't seen any improvement. We've said, could the manager get it? We've had 2 managers now. It's not happened. So you have to ask the player. It's really not happened. And year in, year out, even this year, Arsenal are signing centre-halves, and we're still calling for centre-halves. Now, I'm happy with the signing of I'm not happy with that. Soccer artist, but you get the point. We're going to probably be screaming. We're screaming for a centre-half to be signed this summer. Who knows, we'll be doing it last summer. And if I'm honest, if I was Unai Emery, I feel Mustafi, he's more than giving you enough chances to repay his faith and actually let him down. And to be fair, you remember, it's not even him letting you down. You're letting yourself down selecting him now. He has to be used to the end of the season. But if I'm Unai, honest to God, people, probably even Steve Bold's a better option than Mustafi right now at centre-half. But banter aside, obviously, Rob Holding's injured, but add him to the list. But excluding him, the people I'm persistent with, Mavropanos. I know Mavropanos, what? He got sent off against Leicester and Boston against United. I know he's still trying to get consistency, and he's really missed 2 years now, including last year, adapting and that, of playing top football. If he's not going to play significant next year, he needs to go on loan in a top flight somewhere. But I'd rather put up with his mistakes and his inconsistencies because I know there's some potential there and I know that's someone genuinely learning. Mustafi's at that stage, he should be the finished article. So there's Mavropanos, excluding Holding as well. Monreal, 33-year-old left-back, second choice left-back within this side, is a better option at centre-half for me anyways. I'd persist with that. Koscielny, half the player he personally was, losing his legs. Twice the player Mustafi is. Socrates, put respect on Socrates' name. He's the best defender, give or take him and Holding within this club. But definitely Monreal, Socrates, Rob Holding in particular, they're better options for me. So I can't. We need to get this man off the books like yesterday, man. You lot know me. I don't like to bandwagon. I don't like to scapegoat. I don't like to get personal, and I haven't got personal. I haven't said nothing about him other than what my issues are. In regards to football, and I've actually praised some aspects of him if you've listened closely. But for me, Mustafi, we've got to cut our losses, man. We can't afford to do this now. Individual mistakes, not just Mustafi, individual mistakes have let us down too many times in big games and costing us points this season. And I feel we've been let down. Obviously, away from Mustafi's mistake, once again, there's several incidences we could have played better in all aspects, and that Spurs' goal could have been merely a consolation. And even in the build-up to Spurs' goal, if I watch the game again, these things rarely happen in isolated incidences. It's all sequences. So possibly as a team, we could have defended better. So I'm not just going to say it's Mustafi, but I do feel the players have been let down. Apart from in terms of the game plan, standing up to be counted, I feel the players have been shortchanged. Yes, by the ref, but also by individuals. Poor finishing as well, but more so Mustafi, because you look at every other member of that back 4-5, including Leno. Leno did his thing today. I gave Leno a 10 out of 10 in my players' ratings. Did his thing today. Man to a man, they did their thing. 2 big saves. Koscielny, Kane's beat him up how many times on a football pitch and he's passed his best. Stood up to be counted. Socrates, the best one for me. Bossed it. Tackles, blockages, all sorts. Bossed it. Absolutely bossed it today. Monreal did his thing. Did what they could be. Even Xhaka today was on point defensively. Everybody did their job in my opinion and they were let down. They were really let down. Mustafi, I think you've got a good mentality for what it is, so I'm pretty sure in the dressing room you're going to hold your hands up. But really and truly, you need to look really close to home because this same thing keeps happening time and time again. You really need to ask yourself what's going on. I genuinely believe, I don't believe the media and stuff and people think Arsenal are not trying to improve defensively and trying to do certain things in training. We are. What individual wouldn't? But I genuinely believe now Mustafi doesn't do enough homework. He does not look at himself and critically analyse himself. Because if you did, you wouldn't see the same mistakes. And there's a variety of Mustafi mistakes really. It's not just doing mad things in the box that you can't really understand the thought process. It's the getting tights. It's the playing people onside. It's the, what I hate, naive defensively. He will play against someone like Sergio Aguero, one of the best strikers in the Premier League, in Premier League history. He will try and get level with them, knowing he's not the quickest. Neither is Sergio, to be fair, but he's quicker than Mustafi. You'll get level with them. They will beat you, spring the offside track, and you're standing there in a cup final with your hand up, like losing runners. How many times? I challenge people. Obviously, it's not just him. Guendouzi, for instance, individual mistake when we played Bournemouth. But majority of the goals we've conceded this season, I'm pretty sure Mustafi is at the scene of the crime somewhere, and if not, he's not too far from it. But this guy needs to come out of the club like yesterday, man. You lot know me. It takes a lot for me to sit here and say a player cannot play. Like, even players I don't necessarily believe in this side, like Lichtsteiner. I think Lichtsteiner's garbage, no disrespect, but I don't, like, you lot know what I'm getting at, innit? I'm not going to bandwagon. I genuinely believe Mustafi cannot offer this club anywhere. And I can't lie, once upon a time, you see when we was linked, Mustafi going to West Brom and for Johnny Evans and stuff like that. I was baffled at first because I didn't think it made sense. But I see the angle what Wenger was trying to do. I really see it. I really see why he was trying to give them Mustafi for free and take 3 million or something like that. I see the angle now. And I'm sorry, Wenger, for ever even saying, why are you doing that? Like, what's the point of that? I'm so sorry. Because if we're honest with ourselves, I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say Fulham, because I don't feel there's any centre halves, probably Chambers, but any centre halves better than him necessarily at Fulham or Cardiff. So I'm gonna be fair to him, or Huddersfield. He can get into them sides, but I'm sure 100%, a good 10 Premier League sides, maybe 15 Premier League sides have better defenders than Mustafi in particular. I don't necessarily think much of Sacco. Sacco is definitely better than him. Ake is better than him. Who else? Southampton, I'm not going to lie, I can't think of any at the moment in time, but you get the point, people. Got nothing more to say, but Mustafi, you need to look honestly in the mirror and think about what I'm doing, at least for this season, at least, like how you move forward, because your future is done here, at least I hope so. I hope you prove me wrong. I want Mustafi to turn into a world-class defender overnight. I love to be proven wrong, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Like, you would think, if you was to just look at Mustafi and away from our opinions on him, you would think prime, he's aggressive, he's okay centrally, ball playing and stuff. They're just decision making is poor. You would think there's a player there. There's not. We need to cut our losses. Personally, that's one of the worst signings in Arsenal history. I'm genuinely starting to believe that in regards to defence. Like, and we've signed some Calam defenders. Like, bro, I'm sure Sylvester was better than this done, man. Like, bro, we've had, bro, Senderos was 100% better than him. Even Pascal Sigan probably as well. Like, it's a mad thing, man. It's a real mad thing. But people, I've said enough, man. Deluded. Let me get out of here. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest.